Alright everybody, so we are back again with another raid breakdown. Today this one is going to be Interchange because this is overwhelmingly what people voted for this time. And so today we're looking at some raids that I was doing with the SVD, which is kind of interesting because the SVD I was using for both Punisher Part 6 because I left this really late. I basically didn't do this quest for a long time. So we're using this, combining it with Longline because I think you can probably see here, I was the level at which I could actually do that too because Longline you need to be level 45 at least. And Longline you need to kill 30 PMCs inside the mall. And for Punisher Part 6, you need to kill 15 PMCs with the SVD. So we're doing that. And we also technically need to kill Killa as well. So that's kind of why we want Interchange. If we look just a little bit at the loadout, we've got this Class 6 rig, which is one of my absolute favorites. We've got BT inside the SVD, stacked up with PS because you can only buy a little bit. Got a max energy here. You may as well just level a little bit of immunity whilst you're in the raid. And otherwise, we've got Tier 4 helmet, Razor headset, which is one of my favorites. The ballistics glasses that gives you a bit of ricochet chance. So let's move this across and see where we've spawned. So I was weighing up exactly what we should do here. Now, if we go and bring the map in, where we've ended up spawning. So this is the map that I normally use for Interchange, which I quite like. So you've got the second floor is this piece on the right-hand side. You've got the first floor, the main one, on the middle section. And then on the left, you've got both the actual, because these aren't all to scale. These aren't to scale with each other. So you've got the main Interchange mall on the left-hand side and the parking lot kind of in a bit more detail over here. So where we've started is we've basically started up here by railway, and you can tell because there's all the barricades and whatnot up this side. So the idea for us is, well, no pun intended, we're going to be running across the bridge here and then straight over into Idea because we're kind of hunting for players. And the point is, I suppose, that somebody can kind of spawn over this side, which is a bit dangerous. Someone can spawn up this side, and people can spawn up a power plant and like run through Idea itself and come to meet us. That was kind of the idea, really, is to go into the Idea office, blow this up, and jump it in to over here. This is where we're going. We're going to be coming up the main stairs and then up into the Idea office, which is this one, which has got like the computers in it, and we might meet somebody who's coming this way. But it all will become more explanatory as we get into the raid itself. So let's go. I was weighing up whether to use an SJ6 or not, and based on this spawn, I decided to because it's quite far away. So I recently learned that if you just run at the barricades... I'm on Interchange. If you just run at the barricades, you go over them. The same green helmet you have instead of ULACs. Because they're literally half the price, and the ULAC just gives you ears on top. I don't know whether it's necessarily worth it. Like, ULAC is better, hands down. I don't like the tan one, because it's a big shoot-me target. I've become accustomed to using the TC2000s. I really like them, actually. It's okay on factory, maybe, and it's also okay on labs. I think, because it's not really cover. You're not really in cover, but anywhere else, I'm not a fan. Tan ULACs are a death trap. So we're basically running all the way in. Because we've got an SJ6 on, we can pretty much just run here kind of with impunity. There are spawns over on the left-hand side, but normally it's very rare to get picked off kind of around here. You can have a fight over on the left, but it's pretty rare. Hoping we don't get caught here. God, it's so hard to see into there from down here. Basically just going to head straight up to the main escalators and into the Idea office, which is in here. Stairs this time. What if we can run over to here? Now, I'm still not 100% sure on the timing as to whether you can see somebody here. If they sprint right from power station, maybe they could get here in time, but I'm not sure. I check it anyway. Okay, straight here. I think one reason why I go this way and look over there is because this is the way that I come when I'm at the power station spawn. So I'd rather secure this and look for PvP before going to loot the Idea office personally. Especially with this gun. I don't want to end up in CQB with it if I can help it. Did you hear that step, by the way, guys? There's still a little step bug in the game. There's a bug right now where you can tell when people are coming. It's kind of weird. So I'm basically checking for a second person here now. Whether this guy's on his own. He didn't look like he was just rushing on his own, so it could be another one. I don't really want to play in CQB, but I also want to loot the body and kind of get on with my life, so we push in with the laser. People love to play Interchange in, like, pairs. Like kind of suspect about somebody else appearing, but don't hear anyone. So the guy's only level 11.
Okay, he's level 11.
That's probably the reason why he was playing quite slow. I pick up and drop all the stuff just because it gives you levels. You gain experience for search and attention for searching through everything and picking up things and dropping stuff because you get XP for it.
I usually just drop people's stuff on the floor if they're like level 11 or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's my usual rule. If somebody is lower than the flea and I'm kind of well into my 20s,
so they can have their stuff back because it's just awful otherwise.
Yeah, if they don't have the flea market, they can have their
Until
things
I'm
back.
at the flea. Early wiper doesn't count so much, but now definitely. Could have easily found on the streets. That's a tough one. I think his spawn rate is a lot higher on Interchange, but he's quite hard to find here. You're right, because he really can be anywhere.
I'm still yet to kill Killa.
I think he's always Pinewood Hotel, I believe.
I'm still yet to kill Killa. So I probably should have gone back to the idea office.
Just to find him on streets.
Even just to loot it, because there's some good stuff in there. And I've got a huge bag. But I was kind of on the PvP kick.
It's fun. It's fun. Can you buy M61? Nah. Can't buy it from anyone. Big nope. Big nope. No purchasing of the M61. They blocked that ages ago. Is there a trick to make leg breaks less likely? You can. I think it's. Is it health or stress resistance or something? There's a skill that is responsible for it.
So we're trying to loop through into...
It's one of those. It's either stress resistance or...
We're now trying to loop through back into here. So I probably should have gone a different way, honestly. Like what we did is we went into the office around the back. And we're kind of going all the way through the back here and then to the back there. We're actually going to try and end up in Goshan in this bit because you do find PvP in here. But I probably should have just either like head through this way to try and find something else over there, or maybe gone underground and then come back up or something, because like this tends to be pretty dead after the first little section, because the people who run from power plant, which is probably that guy, come through here and then there's not really anybody else. Like people might go to power to try and turn stuff on, but at this point in the wipe typically tends not to be.
Health, one of those ones. Aha. Oh, let's go.
Often just looting on Interchange is the best way to get into PvP, because that's what people are going for in the first place. So if you stick around like Rasmussen and stuff in the center,
we can go this side, I think.
Often you find more people. I find. And this is the food hotspot that everybody goes to.
Or tried to do before.
Over on the right hand side. There's usually loads of food over there. I'm playing a bit silly at this point, but I'm just trying to get a bit of observation.
Already way too late.
Just trying to see over the top. I kind of back myself in the medium range fights with the SVD.
Already way too late.
I just don't really want to hit people too close. That's the main problem with this gun.
I'm afraid.
We're kind of into the main mall now. Like one of the biggest issues with Interchange at the moment is you can't tell whether the shots are upstairs, downstairs, on the same level as you, which makes it kind of awkward. So you can go to the area, but then there'll be nobody there because they're actually upstairs or they're down in the parking garage. And we did see someone flash across the screen.
Was that a real player?
Left to right. It was probably a scav, but it's hard to tell. It was so quick.
Hard to tell.
Ah, there we go. There's a scav. Shooting from all the way up those stairs.
There's a lot of scavs around there.
This is kind of the point I get to on Interchange often, where I'm kind of stuck. I'm thinking like, where am I going to go next? Because we've kind of gone through like the usual horns, but where is best to go now? Do I really want to just roam around in the actual main section of the mall? But somebody also reminded me that I was still carrying the guy's UMP, and I thought, well, we'll drop that as well, given he was level 11. I can hear someone turning.
Must be scavs. So I wonder where our other PMC went. We'll go down here. We'll carry on. Yes, you do have to do enable.
Tend to find myself most comfortable down this section.
You can try the bosses in offline. Quite useful to be able to do that.
It's probably because the quests are down here, the one we have to stash the stuff over in this corner. So I usually feel most comfortable in this area. So this is now, these are kind of the shops around the hole. This is usually what I think about for this section. So we went all the way through here, through Goshan, and into the main main section of the mall down here, and we're in generic store at the moment, which is the one with the wooden floor, and the hole in the ground is over here, and there's kind of these sort of quadrant of buildings around here. Rasmussen is the tech one, which is usually quite good to go and hit, and you can actually easily get into Ollie from here. So I quite like this position because you can hear lots of things going on. Like Idea normally is pretty dead afterwards because like hardly any loot spawns in Idea, so people tend not to be in there. So from here we can hear stuff going on in the upper part of the mall. We can hear what's going on in Goshan, and we can also hear what's going down in Ollie, because I don't mind sort of pushing through into Ollie. You've also got up the stairs. You've also got some more things as well, various other bits and pieces of shops and whatever. So again, it's difficult to tell with the audio, but you know, it gives you an opportunity to maybe catch more people and hear more stuff that's going on the map if you're over in this section. Quite useful. Pating from a long way. Don't know much about what Max traders sell first wipe. I just found out you can give a lion a raid bag to prep or. Yeah, this one is probably the best one. You can just buy this for 70k. This is also the lightest bag now. For its size. It's only 1 kilo. Better than raid? Yes. PSG did that big rebalance. And for some reason they made the trooper really, really light. They said they did it based on IRL values. On, yeah, and you get, because you have to put bosses on for the rogues, unfortunately. Oh, look at that. That's a 25-20 inch. Yeah. This funny thing. I've actually been getting loads of those. Ah, the old bug drum mag. Where are these shots coming from? Keep hearing like random pings through the map. Oh my god, that scared the absolute crap out of me. Now, you know where we should go? Forgot about this spot. We should have rushed into here before. This is a cool spot. I do quite like this one. The only thing you have to be careful of is that the edging... Was he the one that just died? The edging here, it doesn't seem like you can shoot through it. I've had numerous occasions where I've been shooting into the railing and it doesn't let the shots through at all. Now, I ran into this the wrong way yesterday, or I don't know, I guess like took the unlucky end of this the other day because I shot into the edge of this and it seems like bullets just can't really pen through there. There you go. Manning Trooper. Big bags make it easy to be spotted. They do in some ways. On the same wavelength with my stream self. Oh. So that's probably back in Ollie. Downstairs in the... Thinking about it with hindsight. Got to be down here now. We're going downstairs, so even though I was wrong about it being down here... It could be... no, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not necessarily down here. It could be back through... Even though I was wrong about it, it's honestly not a bad idea to go down through the underground to try and flank people. Could be through in this bit. Is that the killer sound? I don't think so. Now, scouts can shoot from a really long way away in this bit. And you just have to be careful. Like I always feel pretty suspect being in here because there's like a door over here and a set of escalators. Escalators up there that go towards Tech Light. Ollie, the fighting, I think. Ollie itself. Then there's another tech shop over on the right hand side. I think it was called like Texho. Grenade launchers, camp for grenade. I didn't think so. Man's just staring at us. It does sound like they're fighting around this escalator over here. There's two escalators basically next to each other. Oh, come off it, let me up. One that goes this way, and one on the other side of the wall that goes the other way. So you can use those to kind of flank and do stuff using the underground. That's something that I've never been good at before on Interchange, but I've become a lot better at since playing the map a bunch more. Like understanding how the downstairs links to the upstairs. Because it's quite important for being able to flank people and get through the map without, I don't know, getting killed. I don't see anybody. Somebody could be under the escalators. They are occasionally. There's a dead scav. But the problem is going on the escalators is really signposted, really obvious because you make so much noise. And when you're on it, if somebody catches you, there's really nowhere to go. So I'd throw a nade here just to see if there's anybody down there. Just if we hear any movement, if we have any footsteps or anything from somebody being down in that bit. But again, I don't want to push it. And so we will actually use the escalators to try and get to a different angle of approach. I might die running this way, but let's give it a go. This time going back to the front of the mall, though, and using the parking under there. Because you won't be able to hear if I go this way, right? You need to be away from them. Verticality doesn't matter.
Parking underneath. See where these guys were at. Who was shooting at who?
Now we're doubling back on ourselves, going along the way that we went, but underground.
Where's all those shots? Are they just Emacom? Are they just outside?
This guy came out of there and hid. I don't know where he was, honestly. I'm not sure where he was before.
Out without even knowing I was there, or I knew I was there and tried to hide, or what? I didn't see him at first. It's like so dark in here. I didn't even see him. I feel like my gamma needs to go up even more for playing Interchange.
Maybe he was hidden, because this is the stairwell we were looking down on earlier. Maybe he was in the office over and like ran in. Maybe he was underneath and he just stayed completely still while I naded. It's very hard to know. I'm still distrustful about there being others though. But like being down here, so there's the scav we saw before.
I did actually once munch a load of people's legs down here, which is quite funny because I had it was that ridiculous event where you had super damage. Do you remember where everyone took loads of damage? And I had the Vector 45 with rip in here, and anytime anybody came through here, I just ate their toes.
It was fun.
Funny.
That was actually pretty fun. But yeah, I don't really like using the escalators if I know people are around because you can get caught out so easily. I'd rather do a flank like that.
I think it's always 2, unless you're running something really big. What have we got in here still? Oh, okay. We're still in the BT regime. Impacts are really hard to kill Killa with though. Because
so what I tend to do is with this, I tend to stack like 10 PS with 10 BTs over the top because unless you're in a really like pitch battle, you very rarely actually get through the number of rounds, like 10 rounds with the SVD. So that's why I usually just go with like 220s. And you can't buy that much BT, so I want to make sure that I do stack it just in case, so that we don't end up running out between different raids. It's also just when you die, you don't lose as much, and that's really the main thing. If you have like 2 full mags of BT after 2 or 3 deaths, then you basically run out based on what you've purchased. So I'm stacking like 10 rounds of PS underneath because those PS rounds they disappear instead, and I can buy them more easily from Prepple. And those are the ones that I then stack 10 and 10. And PS is still a pretty decent round in and of itself. Like it's still pretty good.
Oh, why did he come back out this way? That's weird. Level 19.
This guy's 19, so his stuff is good to go.
Oh, we can stick it in there. Good. Mask of Shatteredness. What are we running here? PS. Yes. Very well.
That stuff's of limited value. And I don't want to upgrade my headset because I already like the Razors more than the other one.
Eat it. Eat it. Last thing for Kappa? I'm not going for Kappa this way.
So at this point, we're just eating and drinking, just figuring out where we're going to go next. I think at this stage, because we've had 2 PvP encounters and got 2 kills, it's probably time to start moseying out because like a lot of people, like if we're on the PvP hunt, we're trying to do Longline and Punisher, then the issue is that after a while, people are just not in the mall anymore. So you kind of want to just reset your raid. Like there's a number of reasons why you want to do short raids. Good for skill leveling, for strength and endurance. I'm not really the best strength and endurance leveler. I'm always pretty slow, but it's a good thing to try and level those skills. So faster raids is better for that because you don't hit on diminishing returns. Plus, yeah, you're more likely to get PvP. Like we've killed 2 players already, and some players probably are either leaving or skulking around and don't really want to get into fights. And those players we're unlikely to run into. And if we do, then we might get killed when we do that as well. So it's a good idea to just reset once you get into a point like this where we're overweight too, and we can sell some gear and whatever.
Stuff. Yeah, I just can't be bothered to do Kappa already. CMS over Thor? Yeah, it probably makes sense, doesn't it? Although, I don't know, it sells to traders for probably about the same. You're kind of scraping the barrel there a little bit. It's okay. It probably sells for 30k and the CMS is 26k to buy. It's probably technically the optimal thing, but I just can't be bothered. More motors. I mean, 2 slot boys. I guess we can do that.
We decided to just scoop up a bit more loot before we go. Given we're going to leave, and we've got Emacom exit anyway, may as well just grab a few bits before we go. Because we've got such a huge bag.
And then we'll run back the other way and come back out the other
I said I do like the trooper bag.
Well,
70k and some of the best stats for bags.
Weird AKM. Yeah, I always appreciate a kind of funky AKM. I don't know what this stock is though. Ace SOCOM on top of an ME4. I mean, that's going to make the recoil not very good. There's not much you can do about the recoil. 93, I mean, yeah, and it's a sort of scav grade gun too. Oh, interesting. Whoa.
The problem with having the buffer tube AKs is that they're just not as good as the fixed stock. Like fixed stock AKs are some of the best. Fixed stock with the butt pad is genuinely it's close to some of the best stocks in the game, and so there's really no advantage in having these other stocks that have got buffer tube plus something else. They're just not as good normally.
Oh, the money! Oh, bring me the money!
Water filters are pricey right now.
Let's do it. I guess we can go look in this PC as well. Plexiglass? Ah, they're like 6k. They're not even worth picking up. Nice tip. First wipe, maybe. Which tip was that? First wipe, decked out an SVD as per the build on yesterday's stream. Had a great interchange with it. Hey, there you go, T. Fantastic, dude. Oh, I'm pleased to hear that. What's that? Nothing. It's just a bit. And then there's a toolbox over here that we can hit on the way back. Bing, bing.
The question now is, how exactly to get out through Emacom?
From the tea bag. True.
Emacom is the notorious...
We end up seeing tons of player scavs this way. We had like
extract camping
previously with player scavs. We had another big gun. Were we using the SVD then? We might have been, actually. We might have been. Level 20 crafting SMB. If you're level 20, crafting SMB is fine. When you've got workbench 3, I think crafting SMB is less fine because I just feel like there's better things that you can do with your crafting time. M9, M5. What else we got? What else we got? What's bad? What's bad? What's bad? I mean, none of these things are really that great, to be fair. What's really bad, though? The PU, probably. Probably really bad per slot.
Honestly, propane's also pretty bad per
By
slot.
going to be shootable. Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked again at which ones I need. There's a bunch that I need to do. I need to get to sniper levels, you know, infinity. I need to do Tarkov Shooter 8. I actually don't mind Tarkov Shooter 8. It's not the worst quest. Oh, the case of the disappearing loot. Although the alkalis are not really that good enough to drop.
We kind of have two ways that we can leave out of here. So let's just pause for a quick sec. Like Emacom is a bit annoying because of the extra campers, as I said, or the potential for it at least. So where we are right now is we are in Ollie and we've like come through this section here. So the two choices that we really have is either this way or this way. Now I hate going this way along the back wall. This is the one that's like super open and you can see it from the ramp. The ramp section is this here. Just there. If you look right off the ramp, you can be seen all the way along here, all the way down to Emacom, and there's a little fence as well, so if you run out of stamina, it's really awful. The other way, going through this kind of parking lot, and then around the wall, this way I find is significantly better, just because you can't be seen as much, you can hide behind cover, and when you come around into here, there's a little truck you can jump on. So usually my preferred way, I don't like coming out the ramp way if I can at all help it, but then there tends to be lots of scavs and stuff. Like the easy way, the lower way, is going right up into the middle of Goshan, down the secret stairwell, and then out of the side, and then all the way along the wall. But it takes ages, so, you know, sometimes we get greedy, so we go a different way.
What was the first and last time I did Kappa? It's a lot of grind for not really much reward. I've had it before. I've never had it. I've never completed the Streets Shooter-born, though. That's the only thing. I just didn't really fancy it.
So this way, we're going to head back through Goshan, in fact, to go kind of out towards the sort of northern section of the ramp area, at least. And we'll see what we got there. But yeah, I mean, there tends to be a lot of scavs, so we'll see how we get on.
The modeling career? Excel modeling. Or for variety builds. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I like seeing the build diversity. I feel like people are complaining still about everyone using Meta.
Here's some steps. It's a classic player scav exit, this, so very congested, the interchange extract.
Guns. We're going to flank that.
Unfortunately, we miss.
Ah! Ah! Didn't think I could be spotted from there.
Now, given this guy's quite aggressive.
Well, he knows where I'm going now.
He knows where we're going, and he's going to try and push through to us, I would imagine. So we use a painkiller, pre-pain, to make sure that we don't get caught in the leg when we set up for a fight. Because he's quite far behind us. He took that third shot, so we have time for this. And we can probably just wait for him and kill him. Because like player scavs are less careful as well than PMCs. If it was a PMC, he's probably just going to either sit in the entrance and wait for us to pop out of one of the other entrances, or something like that, or try to flank us. Whereas like player scavs just tend to be less careful. And here he comes. Because they just don't care as much about their life. So you can kind of play them in a more simple way. You can assume that their behavior is going to be more simple.
Never underestimate the scavs.
People are just going to be, they're just running quick raids, you know? They're not in there for the long haul.
Better not to.
And in a lot of cases, they just rather fight you.
Oh, PMV10s.
Man's got actually got some good stuff.
Okay.
I finally get rid of the propane tank, thankfully.
No. Yes, yes.
The gas maxes are quite expensive. Those ones go for the tactic rig, is the barter.
You know what we can do now?
But it's not worth it for this.
Get rid of these, that, this. Those are nice little min-maxy spots, those ones.
Good efficiency of the micro rig.
What's he got? Cabin key, Omega? No, none of that's any good. And then... yeah, I'm just thinking like what one individual item do we not really like very much? Mask is maybe okay. It's pretty bad. Motors can be pretty good sometimes. I think the milk's maybe not that good. I think we put it up there and we just use that. And then we can stick this in here, you see.
If you put it in a different slot and use it, then you can move other stuff around. Because like once you've started using it, you can't stop using it, if you know what I mean. And you can't move it out of the slot.
This is the Schmidt and Bender 1x8. It is one of my favorite scopes in the game, actually. It used to have really terrible... what would you call it? It had really terrible sensitivity issues.
Prepare for scavs in this area. There tends to be a few. There's probably at least one down in the courtyard as well. There could be another one. Good. Which is what makes running down the ramp so bad, because people can also be exiting on both sides that we looked at before.
Now it's a lot better.
Sometimes against the wall, sometimes against the way that I prefer to go.
Last ScavTalk, you get a new motherboard.
And they can catch you too.
No, it just worked. It worked with the one I had. B550 Aorus Elite version 2 or revision 2 or whatever.
So I mean, the quick way to go is down the ramp and jump just before the fencing, just in here.
All right, down we go.
This is usually this is the fastest way. Not necessarily the safest way, but if there's no one around and it feels safe-ish, usually this way is okay. And this shortcuts where we were talking about before, right? So over on this side, like through the parking lot,
this side, Hemicom.
That's slightly safer to go all the way through Goshan, but this way is not too bad.
Yeah, for some reason, I just really struggle with 7. I just couldn't.
It's the way that I normally go. If I'm just needing to leave, there's not too many people about. We're about halfway through the raid. There's not that many PMCs. The scavs are all dead. Then we go this way. But you'll see the reason why I hate going this side. Against the blue fencing, your PMC stands out so much. On this side, there's undulating terrain and all sorts of stuff. It's much better.
It was so much easier for me with the VPR. I'm so much more practiced with it. That's the thing. Spectre on rail. Yeah, I should have done that. It's all good. Keeping Xeno? For now. Trying to get fiber installed this week. Wanted to ask again. Yeah. So I think most people's network cards should be fine for gigabit.
Especially up here, you can just see how open it is up there.
I just installed it. It was fine. Like I knew that it would be okay because I've had this internet, or I've had this motherboard in this PC since I lived down south, where I actually had better internet. I had 600 down where I used to live, so I knew that it was at least capable of that. It was 615, something like that.
The number of situations I've had where people are extracting and I'm also extracting, and I can see them because I'm on this side actually, is huge. Like if you end up in a you're both leaving scenario, you tend to win most of the time in an even match if you're on this side, just because you have way more options. And this truck is cool. If you are light enough, you can jump up to this truck, and it stops people from extract camping you.
Whoops.
I'm too heavy apparently at the moment. So there you go. So this is kind of the interchange raids that I've been doing right now. It's been interesting. I feel like going with a short range gun, unless you're very specific about your pathing, I feel that going with a short range gun is actually a bit of a mistake. Like, it's one thing that I used to do was using a hollow all the time on various weapons because I just feel more confident with those guns, but there's just so many places in Interchange that suit a more medium range kind of fight. Just simply because of the ranges that are involved. It's actually quite a wide open map, surprisingly, even though it feels like it's inside. Kind of lulls you into a false sense of security that it's a short range place. So unless you're literally darting from shop to shop to shop, which you can do, there's actually a lot more ways that you can traverse around in the medium distance with something like the SVD or the M1A or the SR or any of those kind of semi-auto guns that have high-powered bullets. And it's quite good to play like that in the late game, I find anyway. So we'll see. I've been learning Interchange over time. I'm definitely not the best at it, and I'm still improving, but I hope that helps you a little bit and shows you some random pathways or whatever that I took in that particular game. And yeah, we'll be recording another one for next week, hopefully. So until then, I'll see you next time, and enjoy. Bye-bye.